Hey, you ever win an argument but somehow the other person refused to lose? You prove your point, you show the facts, you even go as far as to show receipts. And suddenly they say, okay, but what about this? And then you answer that, and then they say, yeah, but that's not the real issue. And just like that, the rules of the argument change. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just witnessed a classic debate tactic called
Moving the goalposts.
Watchtower, this is 187 requesting go no go for launch. 187, this is Watchtower. FAFO, you are go.
Kaboom! Kaboom! Kaboom!
Wagwan people, and welcome back to 187 Opinions and Reviews. You don't know your favorite Jamaican, 187 up in the place. Big up everybody. And you don't know, here we examine ideas, internet culture, and the strange ways people argue when they don't want to admit that them wrong. This series is based on observations from the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, especially his work, The Art of Being Wrong. Make sure you read that book, it's a good read. Now remember, Schopenhauer wasn't teaching people how to discover truth. He was exposing the tricks people use to win arguments, even when they're losing. And today, we're talking about one of the most frustrating tactics of them all, moving the goalposts.
Moving the goalposts means this. You set a standard of proof for an argument. Someone meets that standard. And instead of accepting the result, you change the standard. Imagine a football game. One team scores a touchdown, but then the other team says, actually the end zone is 20 yards further now. That's what this tactic looks like in debate. The finish line keeps moving, so the other person can never actually win.
Simple example, right? Let's say someone say, there's no evidence this happened. So you show evidence. Then them say, well, that's not strong enough evidence. So you show strong enough evidence. Then them say, well, that source isn't trustworthy. Then you show an even better source. Now them say, yeah, but we still can't be 100% sure. Notice what happened? The standards keep changing, the goalposts keep moving, and suddenly the argument becomes impossible to resolve. Very frustrating. Hey, even Galileo experienced this. In the 1600s, Galileo supported the idea that Earth revolved around the sun, right? And when he showed evidence through his telescope, like the phases of Mars, critics didn't simply accept the observation. Instead, they changed the standards of what counted as proof. Some critics argued that telescopes themselves are unreliable. Others claimed that the observations must be misinterpretations. Instead of addressing the evidence directly, the rules of proof kept shifting. Eventually, the debate became less about science and more about protecting existing beliefs. Now, we fast forward to the modern internet, right? So you see this tactic everywhere. Someone makes a bold claim. You ask for proof. They give you weak proof. You point this out. You say, yo, dog, your proof soft like porridge. Come again. Suddenly, the conversation shifts to something else. Or them say, okay, but that's not the point. But wait, that was the point 5 minutes ago. But the goalposts move. Why? Because admitting you were wrong online has become social suicide for some people. So instead of losing the argument, them change the argument.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Schopenhauer observed that many arguments aren't about finding the truth. They're about ego. People attach them identity to them opinions, right? So when those opinions get challenged, it feels like a personal attack. Moving the goalpost becomes a psychological defense. So instead of saying, I might be mistaken, they keep adjusting the rules until they feel safe again.
How dare you!
Brethren, even Albert Einstein dealt with versions of this. When Einstein introduced relativity, critics demanded experimental proof. Then experiments confirmed his predictions, like the bending of light during a solar eclipse in 1919. But some critics simply changed their objections, right? Instead of addressing the evidence, they questioned different aspects of the theory. The conversation kept shifting, not because the evidence failed, but because some people didn't want to accept the conclusion.
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
So 187, why this type of thing happen? For 3 different reasons. right? Moving the goalpost usually happens for 3 different reasons. One is ego. See, people hate being wrong in public. 2 is identity. If someone's beliefs are tied to their identity, they'll defend them at all costs. And 3, the audience. Sometimes the person arguing isn't trying to convince you. They're trying to save face in front of the crowd. Me, I ain't never really been one for the crowd. I just want to be myself, and hopefully people rock with me.
I like this job.
So 187, what should a rational thinking person do? 3 simple steps. 1, point out the shift. Calmly say, wait a second, that wasn't the standard you set earlier, right? And stick on that, 10 toes down. Number 2, you refocus the argument. You bring the conversation back to its original claim. You stay on what you start with, right? Because how you start is how you finish. And number 3, know when to walk away. If somebody keep on moving the goalposts, right? You're not in a debate. You're in a never-ending maze. And sometimes the smartest move is simply exiting the maze. Straight. Not every disagreement is about truth, you know. Some are about pride, and some are about ego. And some people will move the goalpost forever if it means they never have to say, yeah, you got a point.
That he cannot do.
Yes, people, we've reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please make sure to like the video and subscribe. Show us some love. I'm not asking for 1 red cent. Just maybe taking my perspective. And, argue with me in the comments. I will be happy to answer any questions anybody have. Because in the next episode, we're going to talk about another classic tactic, ad hominems. The moment someone stops attacking your argument and starts attacking you. See? And trust me, the internet run panda one ya. Until next time, stay curious and remember, if the goalpost keeps moving, you might not be in a debate. You might just be arguing with somebody's ego.
Who? The fucking nobody?
That fucking nobody.
187.
187.
Walk and live. Talk about buckler dead. 3 o'clock in the morning.